This property that this home is built on was originally part of the, it was the seashore track for the Laurel Hill Plantation, which is one of the 4 plantations that is part of Brook Green Gardens now. It's the northernmost plantation. It was a rice plantation, and it was originally purchased in 1711. Plantation tracks would go all the way from the ocean to the river, and the river is about 2 miles west of us, so that's where the plantation home would be. But then they would move to the beachfront or the salt marsh, which is where we are now. Because of the mosquitoes in the summertime, they felt it was healthier to live on the salt marsh and have the ocean breeze. And so the woodland plantation house, which was originally here, was built in 1740. Unfortunately, it burned in 1981. We were able to purchase the property in 1992, and then we built our home in 2002.
Hello, my name is Dexter Dorman. I wanted to invite you into my house today. We are located in Murrells Inlet, Woodland Plantation, and I just wanted to kind of give a little history of the way this whole project took place. My wife, Kelly Dorman, and I actually designed this house and had it built, and we're hands-on builders.
The way it looks and the old material, the old brick and all that we used in it. And so that was our goal, to have a home that had modern amenities but had an old plantation feel and look about it. But we didn't like the older homes' bathrooms and closets, so we decided we wanted to build a new home that looked old and had all the modern amenities, and it's been perfect for us. We have lots of people come by here and say, how old is that home? They think it's an old plantation home because of the way it was built and the way it looks and the old material, the old brick and all that we used in it. And so that was our goal, to have a home that had modern amenities but had an old plantation feel and look about it. I always say that the porch is my favorite room. We spend a lot of time out there eating, sleeping, napping. It's hard to get anything done because you want to sit on the porch all day.
The outside decking is actually made out of Brazilian ipe. It's a very dense wood. It's almost like a teak wood, but much harder. We actually had collected a lot of these old artifacts and woods from different locations, like the old Gorham Sterling Warehouse out of Providence, Rhode Island. Back when we started this, we were setting up a sawmill to actually cut the molding and stuff for this house. And as it would be, we just had a friend of ours who was actually running trucks up and down the East Coast from Florida to Maine. And he had a trucking company who was coming back empty every week. So we started contracting with him to bring back beams, 30-foot beams. We put them in the sawmill, cut them, planed everything, and made all the molding, trim, everything for this house is handmade. The actual wood that was taken out of this warehouse that was built in 1831 were probably 80 to 100-year-old pine, southern longleaf at the time. And so the wood is well over 200 plus years old. It is number one, it is wonderful wood. We used it in our cabinetry. We used it in the flooring. We actually used it in a lot of our furniture. We
love the idea of the old plantation style, and so we patterned this home a lot after the original home that was here, Woodland, which was the summer house for the Laurel Hill Plantation House, which was on the river. We added our own flair. We actually love Shakora wood, which was considered the grandest plantation house in the area. It's on the PD River. And we sort of modeled the outside, the exterior of the house after that. But of course the interior, we did our own thing. I designed the house to have a lot of windows because obviously the view here is the number one thing. There's windows, traditional looking windows in every room. So there's a view from every room of the outside property, the oak trees, the marsh. You can even see the ocean in the distance. and we have direct access to the ocean at all times, even at low tide, which is very unusual for Murrells Inlet. And that was one of the reasons why the original woodland house was built here, because of that access many years ago. The windows are large, they have transoms above them, they let in a lot of light, they let in all the natural beauty, and we don't cover them up with drapes because it's unnecessary with the wide porches. You don't need, the sun isn't a problem, and you don't need to cover them up except for in the bedrooms for privacy.
When we built this house, we actually used 2x6 construction, exterior and interior, as well as double insulation and 5/8 sheetrock inside outside. So we have basically double construction for quietness, and we did the same between the floors upstairs and down. We put a double insulation barrier as well as soundproofing to eliminate any sounds. You can actually go from room to room and can't really even hear anything. You can't hear people talking in the next room or TVs. It's just a very unique setup, and it's a great built house. It's amazing how very reasonable it is to run this house with 4 heat pumps, and the air conditioner would run probably 15-20 minutes out of an hour, and the house will maintain a temperature of 70-71 degrees in the summer round the clock. This house was built with the old values and the old look, but it's got all the modern technologies, alarm systems, which every window is alarmed up top and bottom, all the doors, and we have a lot of sensors throughout that would detect temperature change, or you could actually go on and change your thermostats by running them on Wi-Fi, which hook into the alarm system. But just a lot of neat little things we added to this house, and we've been updating. Every year we put a little something different in here. But I think it's a very unique house, very unique house.
Another one of our favorite parts to this house is what we call our cupola, or our widow's walk upstairs. It's air conditioned and heated, and it's a great place to go up there. It's got windows all the way around. You can see all of Murrells Inlet, almost all the way to the river. It's a great place to watch storms, fireworks, sunrises, sunsets. The original Woodland house also had a widow's walk, and one of the families that lived here was actually a ship captain, and his wife would actually go up there and watch for him to come in his ship. I designed the house to have a lot of windows because obviously the view here is the number one thing. There's windows, traditional looking windows in every room, so there's a view from every room of the outside property, the oak trees, the marsh. You can even see the ocean in the distance. And we have direct access to the ocean at all times, even at low tide, which is very unusual for Murrells Inlet. And that was one of the reasons why the original Woodland house was built here, because of that access many years ago.
My wife, we had talked about originally putting in all gas appliances upstairs, but she's more into the electrical traditional time. So, you know, I said, well, I've got to have something in my area for a man cave. So everything downstairs is all gas. It's great. You can have oyster roast down there. We've got a nice fireplace, big screen. It's kind of like my man cave. And when I get run out the upstairs, I go to the man cave and just kind of do my own thing. I can cook, sleep down there, watch TV, and take a shower. We also have a 4-car garage, and it's all air conditioned and heated and cooled, and it has been one of our favorite parts of the house, just being able to go out there and get in your car in the summertime or wintertime and it be temperature controlled. The old brick we used in this place is actually left over from the original footprint of Woodland Plantation that was built in the late 1700s. And when the house burnt down in 1981, we actually recovered all this brick along with everything we could, and we used it in this house. Copper roof, we used all copper roofing on top of the house. Copper bands all the way around the window sills. Each window has a copper pan under each windowsill with a drain system that actually drains any overflow of rain that would come in through the windows on a hard blowing rain. And we've put a lot of extras into this house. It's you don't really see them until you talk to someone who has actually built a house like this, or myself, and you realize how much personal touch you put into it.
We just hope that the next family enjoys it and is blessed by it as much as we have been. Thank you.